This video is proudly sponsored by Squarespace. Hey guys, what's up? It's Imurgency and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little different and a bit of a change of pace from the content I usually make. So if you have been following my channel for a while, let me know down in the comments what you think, because I'd be happy to make more in the future. But today we're going to be talking about Lil Nas X. I really just love this man. There's not much I can say. Actually, there's a lot that I could say, and we're gonna get into that. If you follow Lil Nas or just keep up with pop culture, you'd know that this Friday, September 17th, he is set to drop his debut album, Montero. And I just want to say, first off, I'm super excited for that project. The songs that he's released so far, along with the features that he's supposed to have on this album, look like they're going to be elite. So I'm just really looking forward to that. I also think I might be doing a live reaction to it on my Twitch, so twitch.tv/Imurgency if you want to see that. But before Montero drops, I wanted to take a quick dive into Lil Nas and just how he's able to make a moment out of literally everything that he touches. Because I feel like, especially now in the music industry, not many people are doing it like Lil Nas. Especially when it comes to male talent in the industry as a whole, I feel like Lil Nas is really leading the way in terms of just promo, story continuity, and just a really solid marketing rollout. I've said this in a video before, but Lil Nas makes sure that everyone knows when he's coming out with something. He does not know the meaning of moving in silence, and in his case, that is a very great thing. And we're gonna get into that. In this video, we're gonna talk specifically about how he's able to make a moment out of literally everything that he does, and really use social media to his benefit in a way that a lot of other celebrities just are not. So if this is interesting to you, keep on watching, and if you're new, hit that subscribe button because we only have more content like this coming out. Now, before we get into the rest of the video, let's take a quick minute to talk about this video sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is an online web service that can help you host your own personal website or domain. If you've ever thought about making your own website, starting your own online store, or just having your own personal domain to make your website seem more professional, Squarespace is really the site for you. One of the best things about Squarespace is that it's super customizable and has a ton of professional designs and templates for you to use. I'm a senior in college, and what I love about Squarespace is that I'm able to host my online portfolio so I can send it off to different employers and look really snazzy and professional doing it. So if you want to host your own website, online store, or domain, you can head over to squarespace.com to start your free trial. And when you're ready to hit publish, you can go to squarespace.com/Imurgency or use code Imurgency to get 10% off your first website or domain. Thank you so much, Squarespace, for sponsoring this video. Let's start talking about Lil Nas X. So let's start from the beginning. Who is Lil Nas X? If you do not know who this man is, I am sorry for you. Lil Nas X, or by his government name, Montero Lamar Hill, is a black, gay, Grammy award-winning pop star and rapper, and personally my baby daddy. While he had been making music for a while, he really got his big break with his song Old Town Road. You might have heard about it. It's only the biggest song to ever have been created in the history of music. Yeah, he did that. And our story really starts off at Old Town Road because when it comes to this song specifically, this is where his social media savviness really did come into play, in the sense that it's a large reason why that song did so well to begin with. So Lil Nas X initially dropped Old Town Road back in 2018 independently. And during that time, if you remember, there was a really big trend to be real yeehaw, be really country. The yeehaw agenda was a full aesthetic, and he really took advantage of that by releasing Old Town Road, which is really a real twangy song, and basically making endless memes about it. And by making these memes, he not only draw attention to himself by becoming a meme account, but he'd also drive traffic and attention to the song. It was giving similar vibes to how when Doja Cat released Moo, that initially was a really big meme, but then took off as its own song, and then really gave her the visibility to continue and become the amazing rapper that she is. It's basically kind of similar to that, in that initially that was the memes that was driving the music, and people were listening to the music as a joke, and then people were like, huh, hold on, wait, this is kind of good. I got the horses in the back, huh? And this theme of putting the song in a bunch of memes and different challenges really did cause it to skyrocket, all the way to the point where he re-released it with an actual label in 2019 with Billy Ray Cyrus as a feature. And if you're conscious during that era, you'd also know making memes was not the only way that he was promoting the song. You see, Lil Nas X is known for this really interesting strategy of making sure that he milks every single drop out of every single song that he drops. So this song saw endless remixes. Everyone and their mom hopped on this song. I think even at one point a member of BTS hopped on the song, which was huh? So getting all those collaborations on the track only really made the song more viral and increased its longevity, and also just the general relevancy of Lil Nas X by putting him out in a bunch of different fields that he may not have normally been in if he just released the song as is. Because with Billy Ray Cyrus, he got the country people bumping. With BTS, he got all the K-pop stans, and with all the other people he got on the song, I think he got the yodeling kid on there. He's even mentioned in interviews how all these remixes are very, very strategic.
I want to milk everything as much as possible, because when you milk things, that's when it's ingrained in people the most, you know?
And coming off of his success from Old Town Road, he proved that he was not just a one-hit wonder, and came out with songs with Panini and Holiday, which each came out with their own version of like a challenge similar to what happened with Old Town Road. But again, we see this theme of him making memes and like using his song as a way of branching out into other content to really make sure the music is stuck in your head. Like I remember Panini had its own like challenge on TikTok, and it was just being played literally everywhere. And then with his song Holiday, he had like a whole Roblox event, and that was like the meme of that era, just like selling out to like Roblox. And that's another thing about Lil Nas. He is not afraid to make fun of himself and make memes and jokes at his own expense. And a lot of times he'll play into a lot of the jokes, especially when it comes to like his latest era, which we'll get into. But this man's fan engagement is like off the charts. Like just check his Twitter. And honestly, you see a lot of celebrities trying to do this, and there are a ton of videos on YouTube about like the celebrity to social media influencer pipeline. But I will say that Lil Nas X is one of the few celebrities that can actually be a successful like social media influencer, and does that like really well. Okay, I didn't mention this before, but he also came out with an EP which held a lot of these songs, and this is where he initially like had his whole like coming out moment. He said at the end of his album that he had a little special message, and that's where he did it. So yeah.
Thank you to the gay agenda. Let's go, gay agenda!
Now let's look at Lil Nas' current era that he's in, and I feel like his best era in terms of just rollouts in general. The first song that he released in this new era, Call Me By Your Name, really did cement his place in how he was going to act this era. He'd been promoting a snippet of the song for pretty much all of quarantine 2020, and that's another thing that he tends to do, which is also becoming a big trend now with artists overall, is that he and they would take a snippet of like the chorus or like the part that gets you like most moving in the song and put it on Twitter and TikTok to really start building hype for the song. And I have my own opinions about like this method of like promotion, because it can go very well, but then it could also go very badly. Cue twerky later. And the main reason for this is that sometimes artists put out their snippets a little bit too early, and I feel like there's like a nice window where like people are still excited to hear the snippet and get like the full song afterwards. Like the Call Me By Your Name snippet came out like at least like 6 months before the actual single came out, so when the actual song released, a lot of people knew like the general vibe that the song was going to give, like the call me when you want, call me when you need, call me out by your name, I'll be on the way. But overall, I'd say that it's a pretty good tactic in the sense that like it gets the song stuck in your head. When you hear like the full song for the first time, it feels like you already are familiar with it and already are like attached to it, whether that be good or bad. Like you could see the same thing with like what Chloe just released with Have Mercy. Like everyone knew the chorus of that song for like months, and it's been stuck in all of our heads ever since. But going back to Lil Nas X, the main thing about this single release was not the snippet. It was the actual rollout after the song had been released. With this song, he also released a music video, which is without a doubt one of the most controversial, if not the most controversial piece of content that was released this year. Nas really made a lot of people mad at this one. But the thing about it was that it was all super intentional.
I definitely knew it was going to be controversial too. I wouldn't say that. I was definitely being myself, but I knew it was going to be controversial.
I feel like ever since Lil Nas X came out, he has really stepped into the realm of capitalizing on outrage marketing, which if you're unfamiliar is basically drawing attention to yourself and like trying to market something by making people mad or like being as like flashy or basically causing as much outrage as possible. And you can see this a lot with Montero Era of him just coming into himself and like being unapologetically himself, which incidentally pisses off a lot of older people and people that may not agree with what he's about. And he actually talks about this a lot. Like he even tweeted once, people will be like, "You so desperate for attention," then proceed to give it to me. And that just shows he knows what he's doing. He's doing this all on purpose, and he's a genius for doing it. Like him and his team really knew what they were doing, because it was the way that the song came out, the video came out, and then along with the video he released these Satan shoes, because if you haven't seen the video, he's basically giving a lap dance to Satan and swinging on a pole all the way down to hell. Love that for him. So he released these Satan shoes, which got everyone mad because he was like promoting Satan, and this was also his first video where he was like the most openly gay he's ever been, because that also was a huge factor for him. Before the song, he had of course already been out, but he never like openly embraced his queerness in his like video content before. Like literally in this song, a line goes, "I'll shoot a shot in your mouth when I'm writing." Like, what do you mean by that? What shot of what? And it goes without saying that people were mad, and he really used that outrage to market the out of everything. He came out with a bunch of different versions of the video. He came out with a bunch of videos like apologizing for like coming out with the shoe and the song, and then just him endlessly clapping back against people on Twitter. And all this did was continue to make people angry, but also keep Lil Nas' name in everyone's mouths. And at the end of the day, that was the goal, and that is a good thing. Because like when you think about it, he didn't really do anything wrong. So if he's just making people mad but being himself and getting his name out there and making himself even more of like a relevant figure, like there's no real con there. And he did tie off this first signal by accidentally having a wardrobe malfunction during his live performance of the song, which of course he said was not intentional, but of course also did fit like the theme of just making people mad, because if there's one thing that Lil Nas is gonna do is that he's gonna piss off some old people, and that he did. And that general theme of rebellion is like really attractive to like younger people, which are already his audience, because as we know, young people generally do drive change. We generally do not like the establishment and like traditional values, and Lil Nas is literally the opposite of all those traditional values. So the more that he says like f you to those values, the more so that people gravitate towards him, which is always a plus for him. And one of my favorite things, one of my favorite tie-ins of this era had to be, without a doubt, to wrap up Call Me By Your Name, he announces that he's being sued by Nike for the Satan shoes that he came out with. And the whole meme behind that was like he was going to jail, and that was like the main thing, like Lil Nas is gonna go to jail because he's getting sued by Nike. And to have that tie directly into his third single, Industry Baby, I'm skipping over Something Goes Down because I feel like that was like an interim single, like that didn't get as much like hype as like the other two did, but like that transition was just flawless. Like marketing king, like roll out king, the way that they're all like flowing into each other. Because in Industry Baby, the music video, he of course did the same thing that he's always done with like teasing a snippet of Industry Baby in like his TikToks, but Industry Baby takes place in prison, and he had this very clever like 2-minute skit before he actually dropped the video of him like being on trial, because the week before everywhere on social media was Lil Nas is going to jail on Monday, like he's getting locked up on Monday, he's going on trial on Monday. And to have that tie in directly to the music video was an amazing rollout, because all eyes were literally on Lil Nas, because people thought like, oh my god, he's going to jail. And of course Industry Baby was met with some hate as well, because you know, Lil Nas X was just existing as a black gay man, and you know how people are about that. Like at this point, a lot of like the controversy or like the hate coming from Industry Baby were basically just people hating on Lil Nas for being black and gay. Like specifically like some black people, like mostly like straight black men on Twitter, calling out Lil Nas X for like ruining like black masculinity, or like, because let me just catch you up, like people were mad on Twitter, some people were mad on Twitter because Lil Nas X, a gay man, was out in prison shaking ass and kissing dudes, but had Jack Harlow, a white straight man, with a girl, like the one and only girl in the music video. And they're trying to make the argument like, oh, Lil Nas is trying to emasculate the black man, having him be with a man and having Jack Harlow be with a woman. Like, no, are you dumb? Are you stupid? That man is gay. Like if Lil Nas X being naked in the shower is emasculating you, maybe you weren't that masculine to begin with. You know, like if that is all it takes, maybe you just are not as masculine as you think you are. Just my thoughts. But again, with this release, we see like his usual, like releasing like a lot of different versions of it, like the uncensored version with like the shower scene, like versions with just the vocals, just like a lot of different variations to get people continually engaged with the content. Which leads us to present day, finally. If you listen to the version of Industry Baby where it's like without the instrumental, it's like just his voice, at the end you hear a snippet of his last and final single before the album comes out. And I believe that song is That's What I Want. And I really don't have much to say about that yet because that single has not come out yet. It's likely gonna come out when the album comes out. But he did put out a little promo trailer for it. But what we're going to talk about right now is the icing on the cake for this album release. About 2 weeks from when the album was set to release, Lil Nas comes out with this. A pregnancy announcement announcing that his baby, Montero, is coming into the world on September 17th. And I just have to say, who is doing it like this? Who? Like, who gets pregnant for an album release? And of course, this was just another tactic to get people talking, get people mad, and to drive hype and eyes towards his album that's coming out, like his baby. Because a lot of artists be like, oh yeah, this is my baby, like I put all my effort into it. Like this literally is his baby, like he's delivering Montero to us on September 17th. And if you don't take away anything from this video, just know that Lil Nas X knows he will always find a way to make people mad. Like, how do you think of that? Like, how do you think of like, you know what? How am I gonna finally release this album? I'm gonna make the final moment me actually being pregnant and giving birth. Like Lil Nas X really is just like the king of rollouts. And that pretty much brings us up to today, where we are waiting anxiously for Montero's release. Lil Nas is still currently pregnant. He posts pretty much every day that he's pregnant. And honestly, good for him. I hope the baby is healthy and does well. Like there's no doubt that he's not gonna do well with his talent alone, and then also having features from like Doja Cat, Meg, and Miley. Like the people are waiting, the people are ready. I'm just really excited to see as we go into this last week before the album actually releases what he's going to do to have like the final icing on the cake before the album comes out, because we already know it's going to be something. But hey, here's to Montero's release. Let me know down in the comments below if you're excited to hear it. That's gonna be it for this video, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and agree with me, then leave a like, and if you didn't, dislike if you want, I don't care. Again, if you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe for more content and hit the bell so you never miss when I post. You can keep up with me on my social medias here at Imurgency, and click the link in my description to join the Discord server where you can participate in giveaways and just hang out with everyone on that server. Thanks again, Squarespace, for sponsoring this video, and don't forget to head over to squarespace.com/Imurgency to get 10% off your first website and domain. But other than that, y'all, thank you so much for watching. I've been Imurgency, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.